January 28, 2016. Memorial of St. Thomas Aquinas, priest and doctor of the Church.
A reading from the second book of Samuel. After Nathan had spoken to King David, the king went in and sat before the Lord and said, "Who am I, Lord God, and who are the members of my house, that you have brought me to this point? Yet even this you see as too little, Lord God. You have also spoken of the house of your servant for a long time to come. This too you have shown to man, Lord God. You have established for yourself your people Israel as yours forever, and you, Lord, have become their God. And now, Lord God, confirm for all time the prophecy you have made concerning your servant and his house, and do as you have promised. Your name will be forever great when men say, 'The Lord of hosts is God of Israel,' and the house of your servant David stands firm before you. It is you, Lord of hosts, God of Israel, who said in a revelation to your servant, 'I will build a house for you.' Therefore your servant now finds the courage to make this prayer to you. And now, Lord God, you are God and your words are truth. You have made this generous promise to your servant. Do, then, bless the house of your servant, that it may be before you forever. For you, Lord God, have promised, and by your blessing the house of your servant shall be blessed forever." The word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm, the response is, "The Lord God will give him the throne of David, his father." Lord, remember David and all his anxious care, how he swore an oath to the Lord, vowed to the Mighty One of Jacob. The Lord God will give him the throne of David, his father. I will not enter the house where I live, nor lie on the couch where I sleep. I will give my eyes no sleep, my eyelids no rest, till I find a home for the Lord, a dwelling for the Mighty One of Jacob. The Lord God will give him the throne of David, his father. The Lord swore an oath to David, a firm promise from which he will not withdraw. Your own offspring I will set upon your throne. The Lord God will give him the throne of David, his father. If your sons keep my covenant and the decrees which I shall teach them, their sons too forever shall sit upon your throne. The Lord God will give him the throne of David, his father. For the Lord has chosen Zion. He prefers her for his dwelling. Zion is my resting place forever. In her I will dwell, for I prefer her. The Lord God will give him the throne of David, his father.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus said to his disciples, "Is a lamp brought in to be placed under a bushel basket, or under a bed, and not to be placed on a lampstand? For there is nothing hidden except to be made visible. Nothing is secret except to come to light. Anyone who has ears to hear ought to hear." He also told them, "Take care what you hear. The measure with which you measure will be measured out to you, and still more will be given to you. To the one who has, more will be given. From the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away." The Gospel of the Lord.
January 28th, the Memorial of St. Thomas Aquinas. The first reading is from 2 Samuel 7, 18-19, 24-29. Yesterday we heard that God had promised the dynasty to David. Today we hear the response of David, who's filled with a sense of wonder and awe. Who am I that God would make a promise like this to me? I, who was so small, who was a shepherd, was chosen as king, and that's already more than I could ever expect. And now God has promised that my descendants will rule over Israel forever. May God be praised for this. Notice there's a sense of gratitude. Notice there's a sense of praise, that he recognizes that something very holy has happened, and therefore his only possible response is one of gratitude and praise. He then asks that the Lord bless the house of his servant forever, that as God has promised, God may fulfill his promise. The Gospel is from Mark 4:21-25. Yesterday we heard that we're supposed to love the Lord with our heart, soul, and strength in the parable of the seed that's scattered on the path among rocks and among thorns and on good ground. Well, today we begin to hear a series of wisdom sayings. First of all, that we don't hide a light under a bushel basket. The light should be put in a place where everyone can see it. So everything that we do should be done in the open, transparent. We should be authentic in our faith and not hiding things away, not afraid to give witness to who we are. Now, in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus will say, if you're praying, do it in secret. If you're giving charity, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Remember, in Jewish teaching, they give one extreme and the other, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. A lot of this depends on our motivation. If we're doing things just to be seen, just to be praised by others, then it's better we do it in secret. But if we're doing things to give witness, even if it will cost us, then we should do it in public. He who has ears ought to hear. That's a typical phrase used in wisdom literature. In other words, pay attention. Listen to what I'm saying. The measure with which you measure will be measured back to you. That if we are generous of heart, then our hearts will be open and we'll be able to accept the generosity of God. But if our hearts are closed, if we're not willing to help others, then since our hearts are closed, we can't even accept the help of God. To one who has, more will be given. It seems as if this saying is talking about faith. If you have faith, your faith will grow. But if you don't have faith, if you reject faith, then even that little bit that you have will die. And what is faith? Faith is an act of trust, where we trust in God's love, we trust in His mercy. Faith is not so much believing in things about God. When we say the creed, we don't say, I believe these following things about God. We say, I believe in God. Sort of like saying, Jude, I believe in you. So faith is an act in which we believe in God. We place our whole life, our whole love, our whole hope in God's love. And may God bless us.